Hey, what's up? It's Mike Pinto from thesmartguitarist.com. Got a new video for you today on the topic of harmonic tremolo. Harmonic tremolo was an effect that Fender built into its amps in the early 60s. These were the Brown amps that Fender made. The Brown cosmetics were very short-lived, and the harmonic tremolo circuit was very short-lived. Harmonic tremolo was unique in that it created this sort of phasey, almost univibe-like, wobbly kind of sound by splitting the signal into a kind of a dark half, a very bassy kind of signal, and a bright half, a very trebly kind of signal, and then the circuit would oscillate between them. So we're going to create that same effect using totally stock basic plugins in Logic today. It's very easy to do and sounds really cool. So let me share that with you. Okay, so I've got in Logic here, I've got a track armed here. I'm playing live through it right now. The only thing you're hearing right now, effect-wise, is just the Logic Amp Designer plugin. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. First thing we do is on an open effects slot, we go down to EQ. We add the channel EQ, the standard Logic EQ, but we're not going to choose stereo. We're going to choose dual mono. Okay, dual mono. And you'll notice at the top of the dual mono EQ plugin that there's a left tab and a right tab. We can specify separate EQ curves for each side. So on the left, let's add a very extreme high pass filter. Let's take it up to somewhere around here, about the middle of the frequency range. I've got it at about 600 hertz there. Then on the right side, we're going to add an equally extreme, but opposite, low-pass filter. Same idea. We're going to take it down to about the middle of the frequency range there. All right, now if I play, if you're listening with headphones, you can hear it sounds a little weird. On the one side, it sounds very thin and bright. On the other side, it sounds very dark. So let me show you here. Something that's very important here. On the pan knob on your channel, the default is actually for it to be set to balance. So I'm going to show you what that sounds like. So if I move it all the way to the left, that's this side. That's the left side of the EQ, okay? Now, let me show you the right side curve, and let me balance it all the way the other direction. Check this out. Very, very dark, okay? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to change that pan knob to a stereo pan, and we're going to totally narrow the field, the stereo image, okay? So I'm going to grab one side of that and bring it all the way back so that my left and my right side are essentially brought together into the center, and then grab that whole thing and move it centered. So now when I play, if I bypass the EQ plugin, it does not sound substantially different. You can hear a little bit of a difference there, but it's not substantially different. Okay, so now that we've done that, after the channel EQ, we go down to modulation, we go down to tremolo, and we're going to choose stereo, okay? Not dual mono. Dual mono is what we chose for the EQ. We're going with stereo for our tremolo effect. All right, now I need to show you something here. First of all, I'm going to maybe put the speed about there. You'll notice that by default here, the phase is set to 180. 180 degrees out of phase between the left and the right sides. I'm going to change it to 0. Okay, now listen. That is totally normal standard tremolo. The volume is pulsing up and down. There's nothing really unique about it. It sounds good, but it's not harmonic tremolo. Listen to what happens as I adjust the phase back to that 180 degrees setting. There we have our harmonic tremolo. You can see by the two wave shapes here that while one side is coming up in volume, the other side is coming down in volume. And that's what creates that harmonic tremolo effect. One last thing here. If I go back to my pan knob and leave it set to stereo pan, but broaden the stereo image back out real wide, we still get a little bit of that harmonic tremolo feel, but it's a little diffused and a little bit hard to hear in a focused way because the stereo image is so wide. So what you can do, as I showed you before, is narrow that stereo image. You don't need to take it down all the way. You could leave it just kind of part of the way, and then I've got it spread a little bit. So now it's got a little bit more width than it did as I was demonstrating before, but the harmonic tremolo effect is still perceptible in a way that's not quite so wide as it would be if you left the stereo pan in its original state. All right, so there you go. Harmonic tremolo using the stock EQ and tremolo plugins built right into Logic. Hopefully you enjoyed that and can get some use out of it. If you did get some use out of it and you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing on YouTube, and also go to thesmartguitarist.com, get on my email list so I can better stay in touch with you. All right, see you next time.